Welcome to episode 3 of Weekends Well Spent Creating Wealth. All you need to do is think, write, and share, and have a great journey ahead. This is Reena Saxena back here with the next episode. And this week, our topic is art and science of budgeting. Have you lived by the dictum? Income minus expenditure is equal to savings. Savings is whatever is left after taking care of all your needs. Time to change that. The right equation is income minus investments is equal to expenditure. Let it sink in. Read it again. Income minus investments is equal to expenditure. You spend only after you have taken out your fixed quantum of savings or investments, whatever you choose to call it. Elizabeth Warren made famous the 50-30-20 formula. 50% for your needs, this is all your essential expenditure. 30% for wants, this is for entertainment, shopping, etc. And the remaining 20% for your savings and investments. This sounds fairly liberal, as there are some experts who would advise you to save at least 30 or 40% of your income. But this largely varies from individual to individual because the quantum of your income, the quantum of your expenditure, your personal circumstances may all be different. So there are no standard formulas that apply to all. Is this your idea of a budget? Penny pinching, living on less, living in stress? Whether your answer is yes or no, one needs to have a spending plan. This is non-negotiable for all. Let's not call it a budget. I call it my prosperity plan. What's in a name, you say? Well, quite a lot. Let's start. Let's look at the envelope method. This is probably something your mother or grandmother must have followed in the days we used cash. Put money allocated to different purposes in different envelopes. But quite often, the money would move from one envelope to another because the urgency in one segment outweighed the importance of another. Is there a way to prevent it? Let's use the nomenclature method. Have a look at this. Your kitchen expenses are called Health B, Taste B. Your rent or EMI is called Hamara Ghar. Are you doing something for your child or taking care of their school expenses? Call it Alia's advantage or Mohan's money. Entertainment is fun-filled days. Your retirement plan is Swabhiman or my security blanket. Now will you use this money for some other purpose? There's happiness written on the labels and you would not want to exchange or give up this happiness for something else. It's created a mental pocket for you and you would like to remain there because it spells, you heard it right, happiness. Monica Hallan, in her book, Let's Talk Money, advocates the use of 3 savings accounts. Of course, one has to maintain the minimum balance in each account, so that much money has to be kept aside. The first one obviously has to be your income account, where you receive your salary, pension, interest income, business income, or in whatever form your monthly inflow comes in. The money from this account flows in a predetermined percentage to your expenditure account and your investments account. Ideally, let this transfer be automated. You can set standing instructions in the account where the money would automatically get transferred to the other two after the receipt of your monthly quota. The second account is the expenditure account. This one should have a debit card or whatever you may link your valets and other things to this account. Ideally, the third account should not have a debit card. The image used here is that of an Indian gullak. One had to break it to pull the money out. It does not have a key. So the message is, once the money goes in, it should not come out. What is needed after you have set up the systems? Commitment to the plan and constant monitoring if it is working right. If you think you cannot do it yourself, engage a financial coach, because the reasons for veering off the route differ from individual to individual. There's a lot of psychology behind it. There could be a lot of relationship issues behind it. So there cannot be a standard solution that applies to all. In case there is a problem, do go in for engaging a financial coach. What if there is an emergency? This is the next question you can ask, and which is a very, very valid question. Remember what we did in the last episode? We set up an emergency fund. And emergency funds are not meant only to be used in case of a job loss. It can be used in case of any unforeseen expense that comes up. Now, don't say that your income is not enough to be put into 15 or 20 envelopes. This can be a very small percentage, whatever you can afford per month. I remember growing up with a dictum which said that at least 1% of your income should go to charity. Some people extend it to 10%, but everybody cannot afford 10%. These are the kind of things that stay. But if you have been steady at this 1% or 2% or 3% every month, the emergency fund can build up to a sizable amount, provided you have been disciplined enough not to withdraw from it. The next problem: my family does not cooperate. If you remember, about a year back, there was a trending hashtag on Twitter which said, "Mummy, please," "Mummy, please," or "Daddy, please." And this is a plea we often given to. There's so much of an emotional attachment behind it. There's so much of satisfaction that we derive out of giving happiness out of a child that we are willing to sacrifice our budgeting or our financial plans for it. What can be done about this? Have a discussion before planning the budget. Include your children if they are old enough to understand. Take cognizance of their needs. Explain the limitations and that one cannot have it all. If what they are asking for is more than what you can afford, let them set priorities. Tell them they can have something today, something after a certain period of time, in a few months, next month, next week, next year, whatever it is. Let the kids know their limits and explain the need for adherence to a plan. Tell them their future hinges on the success of your plan. Read our blog on the subject, Financial Inclusion, Couple Finances. Here the author Ekta Sehgal Malhotra uses a term called financial infidelity. It's quite interesting. The link will be given elsewhere. You can go to the blog and read this. It talks about how to manage couple finances. This is a tagline on our emails from my corporate days. Whatever is not tracked is not delivered. We did not really like that in those days, but over a period of time, I have come to realize the importance of it. If you are not tracking, if you are not measuring, the results will not be delivered. Have you heard of Kakibo? It is the Japanese art of money management. Kakibo diaries are available on Amazon and other online shopping sites. You can go and have a look. These are formatted diaries. This could be similar to the diary that your parents or your grandparents have maintained to manage expenses. Find this old-fashioned. Download money apps. You need a budget, good budget, Walnut, Monify, Valet, Expense Capital. Most of them center around tracking your expenses. The modalities and the cost, whether free or whatever could differ, you could go on Google Apps and check the ratings of these apps. We'll deal with it in detail in a future blog or a future program at some stage. So find what suits you best. Keep working, keep moving. Happy journey. Thank you. Have a great weekend.